Jerry, how's it going? Cindy Lou, Lisa, Danielle, on time, kind of. Jerry had a nice Christmas party. It's wonderful. Who's going to show up on Friday night? Lisa number two. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking about Schiff and Pence tonight. Don't worry. Give it a few seconds here, guys, and we'll get started. It's like everybody's got a Christmas party tonight. Okay, let's let's get this thing rolling. Swampwatch, 12/20/19. Um, let's start with Schiff and Pence. So now Schiff is claiming that he's got an inside source from Rory. How you doing? Schiff says he's got an inside source in Vice President Pence's office. So now here's where it's going to come, guys. What do you want to bet that they're not going to try and fabricate something? Remember, Pence is a swamp rat. He's a pedophile. The rumor is that he was actually removed from office after the 4th of July or on the 4th of July because there was a supposed assassination attempt on President Trump that he may have been involved in. Plus, he's a notorious pedophile. Anyway, and for those of you who don't know the story, President Trump never wanted Pence. The RNC forced Pence on President Trump. They, if you notice, one of the things that kind of surprised me was he waited so long to announce his VP, right? Well, he was trying to find a way around it, but the RNC went to him and said, "Listen, you take Pence as your VP, or we're not going to give you any money, and we're not going to back your campaign." That's why he waited till the last minute, and he obviously he went for the deal. He had to. I think if he would have picked a different candidate and maybe not got the money and the support from the party, it could have been the difference. So I think he made the right move. And, of course, they knew who he was. So I think they've kind of had him isolated from day one. And I think the first time that he tried to make some kind of a move, they were ready for it. And they caught it. So it wouldn't surprise me at all now. So these guys know that they're all going down. And when I say going down, they're all guilty of treason and or murder. Remember, they're all satanic pedophiles. The most disgusting thing about this is that the scope of how many people are involved in this, how many powerful, wealthy people, elites, are involved. So why wouldn't they come up with some harebrained scheme of they got now, and maybe they're going to come up with some story that they're going to make a first-hand witness, right? Somebody that heard something, somebody that saw something, and they're just going to make up another story. It doesn't make any difference, guys. Listen, Admiral Rogers is right now working hand in hand with Durham. These guys are pissing their pants in Washington. They know that those two guys, they can't be bought, they can't be scared off, and time is short. So don't be surprised if some crazy ass story comes out about some ultra treason they caught President Trump in, and trust me, it's all going to be 100% scam, and it's all going to be ferreted out, and it's just going to make the situation worse for these people, because the only thing they had going for them was there was still a portion of the country that just didn't want to hear about President Trump, that had been brainwashed, that, he's the crazy guy that CNN says he is. Them exposing themselves is destroying the last asset they had left, which was their support with the sheep. Well, yeah, it's like the same thing, the kid who cried wolf, right? The sheep eventually start to figure out something's not right here. They keep crying wolf for 3 years on several different issues, and not a one of them have they come up with one shred of evidence. So what they're actually doing is, it's the same thing when everybody's, oh, we've got to shut this impeachment down. Oh, it's horrible. It's destroying the country. No, it's not, guys. It's exactly what we need. Everything these guys do gets turned back against them, just like this. It's gonna boomerang right back, and it's gonna expose them for even bigger frauds, and they're gonna lose more support. So then when the arrests come, everybody's gonna be saying they deserved it. And we're not even talking about the satanic pedophilia yet. I mean, we're just talking about the impeachment and whatever this news story is that crazy Schiff and Pence are going to come up with. There's a so kind of what I think what they're going for here is, think about this for a second. So if they can come up with a story, in other words, if Pence will turn on President Trump, he knows he's going down for treason anyway. He turns on President Trump and testifies against him. So they take out President Trump with the impeachment based on Pence's testimony. They take on Pence for basically whatever the charge is going to be, and could be treason, should be treason. So then guess who's president? Pelosi. Can you imagine that? I'm going to tell you right now, there is not a chance in hell that that's ever going to happen. I'll guarantee you right now, the military would step in if they tried to run some BS story like this through the courts. Never going to happen. We would never have to pick up our guns because the military would step in and shut them down. It's not going to happen, guys. You know, it's this whole impeachment thing is a sham. If they didn't have the mainstream media on the payroll, it would have never gotten this far. There is nothing. They could probably prosecute these people for treason, for what they're doing, knowingly. There's zero, not a shred. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Don't be surprised if it's not this, if it's something else. They have nothing left except to pull out all the stops. Any crazy story they can think of that might have a slight chance of working, they will try. And this, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not worried, guys, and you shouldn't be either. And the other thing is, I think what they're trying to do is you notice the big hubbub about, oh, you're going after Biden. He's your political opponent. He's running against you for president. I think they're trying to build up public sentiment for that because Biden is like the test balloon. If it works for Biden, and they're probably going to try it with all of them, but they're going to, like Pelosi's going to say, well, I'm his political opponent, so he's coming after me. That's their last ditch. That's what they're going to throw out there at the end. And I think that's what Biden is all about. If they can get some traction with that crazy story in Biden, that we shouldn't be allowed to go after him in a campaign, it's craziness. Not going to fly. It's funny how, and it's again right out of the Rules for Radicals, they want everything their way and nothing our way. And even when the situations flip, then they flip back what they want. It's like Clinton's impeachment versus President Trump's impeachment. Completely flip-flopped. That's what these guys are. They're as phony as it comes. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the media that it's even gotten to this point. Should never have. Then this is I think pretty telling that Admiral Rogers is working closely with Durham, and he's pointing Durham in all the right directions. Remember, Admiral Rogers was the head of the NSA. He's got it all. He knows everything. He knows who these guys were colluding with, who they were selling their secrets to. And listen, it doesn't get any worse for them. This is the worst guy they could have working with Durham. Absolutely. If I was going to pick the dream team to go after these monsters, these would be the two guys. There's no escaping what's coming. It's all good, guys. Something else I noticed today. I don't know whether people are sensing the victory and people are getting kind of a little bit overexcited and a little bit overconfident. Maybe that's not the right word. But I've noticed a couple of times today, it kind of surprised me, that there were kind of some comments with kind of racial overtones on conservative sites. And I just want to warn everybody to be really careful. There's no room for that in what we're doing here. It makes us no better than them when we stoop to that level. We don't need to go there. We don't want to go there. We want to set the example here of how things like this should go. That when we win, the people who are guilty will be dealt with accordingly based on their trials and sentences. And the rest of us, American citizens, are going to have to pull together to get through this, because we are going to be going through a little bit of a rough patch. And it's going to be a lot easier to do if we pull together. We don't want to fall into their paradigms of division. You know, that's what all of this propaganda was the last few years. The whole gay, straight, and how many genders are there, and dividing us by religion, and every place they could find to drive a wedge, they did. We have to be smarter than them. Anybody who's a citizen that supports our Constitution is on the same team. The color of our skin should have no relevance. Martin Luther King. It's the content of your character. That's how I judge people. I don't care how much money they make. I don't care what kind of car they drive, how big a house they live in. Because I've known some of those people I wouldn't give you 2 cents for. And I've known some guys that didn't have 2 cents to rub together, that were the salt of the earth. We give you whatever they did have, they'd give you. Who would you rather have as a friend? And that brings me kind of my next topic. I have had amazing luck going through my friends list. And my friends list was at 5,000 people. It was at the max. And the majority of those friends were built up through my rodeo career. And obviously, I've gone completely off the reservation to where what I used to do. And so I've been going through my friends list looking for patriots and Christians, for warriors, for people that are speaking out. And what I do is every single friend, click on their profile and I scroll down. If I see 5 or 10 selfies in the first couple of scrolls, I'm deleting them. And I'm going and replacing them with a patriot, with a warrior. And just in these 3 days or so, 4 days since I've been doing this, it is, and not that things, were going bad. Things were actually getting better, but they weren't getting good fast enough. And this has just really jump-started, the excitement. It's re-energized me, to see this renewed interest in what we're trying to do. So I recommend that all of you do the same thing. Here's what'll happen. And what's great about it is, and maybe some of you have noticed this, but it's another way that we can boomerang back on the deep state. Things like Facebook, like social media, that they engineered to control us. We are now turning back against them. And this is just another example of it. So if you are constantly looking for people who are posting patriotic content, what'll start to happen is the recommended people for you will all start to be like you'll see where we go one, we go all. You'll see Q, you'll see, Trump 2020. And then you click on those people and you scroll down. And if they've got 5 or 10 selfies in the first couple of scrolls, you move on. And if they're posting about current pertinent topics like the impeachment, like all the abuses going on, they're my new friend. I'm telling you guys, it's amazing. And then as we start to work together, this thing will just take on a life of its own and snowball. So try it, guys. It's really working. The other thing is, I'm seeing a lot of fear porn out there, and I think we're gonna, as things start to get more chaotic, we're gonna see more of this fear porn. Ignore it. There is nothing to fear. Listen, we're mentally prepared, we're physically prepared, we're spiritually prepared. There's nothing they can throw at us that we can't handle. Those that are prepared are going to thrive. And I'm not saying everybody's going to get through this clean, right? I mean, some of us may not make it, whether we get run over by a bus or we get caught maybe in some kind of civil unrest. The majority of people who are prepared for what's coming, extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin, cash, Faraday bags, filtration devices. There's a whole list. Everybody should be doing their own evaluation on their prepping needs. But those that are prepared, I think, are going to thrive through this. And everything I'm seeing every day makes me every day feel like that's exactly where we're headed. Because for the new people, I've been doing this for 5 years now, full time. 5 years ago, I couldn't see a path to how we could get through this without losing millions of Americans. Remember, 5 years ago, Obama was president. It looked like Hillary was going to be next. And even when President Trump was elected, I mean, I slept good for the first time in a long time. But I knew he had a rough road to hoe, and it wasn't going to be easy. It has, anybody who doesn't see God's hand in this, just the way these little things I've been talking about, how all of these things that they set up to take us down, we're using to take them down. I mean, do you see the, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Statistically, it should not have gone this smooth. They had, I have to say, the day he took office, there were more globalists in the government than there were patriots. So this was never a given that we were going to skate through this thing. It could have got ugly at any time. So that we're here on the cusp of this greatest victory in human history, defeating the greatest evil the world has ever seen. This globalist agenda, this cabal, this group of satanic pedophiles. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Hillary wasn't supposed to lose the election. And we were supposed to all be in FEMA camps by now. So explain to me how it happens without God's hand in this. And I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time looking at this. I didn't see a way. And every day I see something new that just blows me away. So if you're not seeing God in this, you're not looking, because his hands are all over it, guys. Okay, what else I got here? Oh, this economy is toast, guys. Physical silver Litecoin. Remember, when this goes, all paper assets are gone. Bank accounts, money market accounts, annuities, stocks, bonds, pension funds. Got to get your Litecoin and silver. It's your insurance against what you're going to lose. Everybody's going to lose something. Guaranteed. You're going to lose your pension. You're going to lose your bank account. You're going to lose 80% of the value of your home. You've got to protect yourself by getting physical silver and Litecoin. In the comments, I'll post the websites again. Anybody who needs any help, please message me. It's pretty straightforward. In a matter of an evening, an hour, you could have Litecoin and silver bought. You know, you got to have your food, got to have your water. 50-pound bags of rice, 50-pound bags of beans. Fill your empty soda containers and milk jugs with tap water. This is just about survival, guys. This isn't about a gourmet lifestyle for 6 weeks. This is about getting through a rough patch. So don't worry about spending $1,000 on high-end, prepping food. Go buy several 50-pound bags of rice, several 50-pound bags of beans, get your water, and you're going to survive. And don't fear what's coming. Everything that's coming has to happen. The economy has to collapse. The swamp has to drain. The pedophiles have to be exposed and eradicated. It's all good. Yeah, it might be rough, but it's going to be nothing we haven't been through before. So there's no reason to panic, and there's no reason to be fearful. Yeah, I say this all the time. Sometimes the thing you fear the most is the best thing for you. I mean, I can think of 10 times. I mean, think about the time where things were tight at work and you're worried about losing your job, and you do, and then a week later, a job that was better pops up and lands in your lap. I mean, through this process, through this 5 years, I'm going to write a book when this is over, because the stories are unbelievable about how everything just fell into place. Amazing stuff, guys. Oh, and Rubio, he's another globalist rat. He's going down. He's a traitor. So don't worry about this gun bill. Never going to pass. What do we got here? Yeah, these guys, they have no choice. They're going down. So they might as well go down swinging. So I'm not really surprised by this new story, and it's not going anywhere. Chad, how you doing? Tom, hello. David? Kathleen? Yeah. Here's what's happening. Lisa posting, 5 Pentagon officials have left in the last week. Admiral Rogers is working with Durham, and they're weeding out the rats. Well, trust me, they're expecting attacks on Durham and President Trump. So I would say they're probably safer right now than most of the other cases that he worked. Durham, I'm talking about. because I'm sure the security is pretty tight for him. I mean, this is the most important investigation in our country's history. This is going to. There's nothing in history, anywhere in the world in history, you can compare this to. Not just our country. I'm talking about the history of the world. This is, I mean, this is crazy stuff. What was going on here? Trump wins 90% of the vote. 2020. Pence is headed for the gallows. National Security Agency. It's, the equivalent military intelligence, CIA, and probably the most elite when it comes to like the cyber part of it and the cyber spying. He's the one that proved that the Russians couldn't have hacked the DNC. That Seth Rich, I mean, he can't say that it was Seth Rich that leaked the emails, but it was Seth Rich. He can say for certain it wasn't the Russians. And it wasn't a hack. And the whole thing was, it was a Russian hack. Well, if it wasn't a hack, it wasn't the Russians. It was actually an inside leak. And they know by how long it took to download. It was far too quick a download for it to be remote. It was physically impossible for that to have been a hack. If they were across the street and hacked in, it would have taken them many times longer to download this stuff. So, and that's Admiral Rogers ran the NSA. Admiral Rogers was the one that after President Trump was elected, he went to Trump Towers and warned him that they were spying on him. They had Trump Towers wired. And not maybe physically with the old type, but all their communications, all their devices. I mean, it's better than wiring a room because everything, their phones are wired, their computers are wired. They can see through the cameras and they can hear through the mics. And that's on your smartphone too. Yeah, I'm on. In fact, I haven't posted on Twitter in probably, I don't know, 6 weeks. I just posted today, and I'm gonna go back on Twitter. I just never got along well with Twitter. I hope Danielle's talking about Litecoin, but this thing, um, between now and the end of the month, guys, I think things are going to get wild, uh, especially in the economy. Possibly an arrest or two. Thanks, David. Well, it depends on how big a family you have. Everybody should have enough food for 6 weeks. So you got to kind of figure it out. I'd rather have more food than less. Remember, if you can afford extra, get extra. Because guaranteed, if this thing goes south and the stores are closed, you're going to have friends or relatives or neighbors that need help. And remember, this is about paying it forward. Thank you, David. Good job. David shared the live chat to what, 9 sites? 9 sites. Everything. Yeah, I know, guys. This is my high tech broadcast. You're not going to get Sean Hannity type production. But you know what? We're talking about things that they won't let Sean Hannity talk about here. So it's a trade off. Okay, guys, that's all the questions. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything here. It's all good news, guys. It's going to be a great Christmas. Don't worry about the, MSM. They're going to go crazy over this stuff. Ignore it. It's all worthless chatter. Even the sheep aren't buying it anymore. I'm going to finish up here tonight, guys. Remember, fear not. I really mean, fear not. There's none to fear. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5. God bless.